Hey there, Chubs fans and listeners and chasers and anyone else that wants to listen. I just wanted to tell you all that it's Kathy Bacon's birthday month. Happy birthday, Kathy Bacon. You have a whole damn month, and I only get one day. So I
If
have to
that.
make the most of it. And that's coming up fairly soon. So
No, it's not.
it is. This is March, April, May, June, July,
Halloween is
September, October. Okay,
222
so
days
7
away.
months away.
So it's
So
222 days away.
well,
222. That is not even close.
no, that is because that gives people a wonderful chance to decide what they want to get me.
Get them candy.
Oh, oh, that's so tempting. In fact,
It always fits.
Easter is coming up. You know, the holiday that Christians stole from us, which and our Astara was actually yesterday. So happy spring, by the way. Um, anyway, I'm just saying that this Christian Easter, I want candy. For the past 5 or 6 years, I have said to anybody that will listen, I want a great big giant chocolate bunny. It doesn't have to be solid, it could be hollow, it could be the cheap chocolate, the Palmer or whatever.
It's
But
not cheap. It's fabulous.
well, I, I just said,
Yeah, I understand.
inexpensive, but yes, it's fabulous. But I want a great big fucking like 2 foot. I mean, not one of those like oh, I'm a foot high bunny. I want a big fucking giant chocolate rabbit.
Well, now the
And
problem is they
never
don't they
get
don't they don't ship well.
no.
So it has to be someone local.
Well, somebody local better damn well get me a fucking chocolate bunny this year.
I'll speak to some people.
Thank you, because I mean, and don't get me wrong, a little Steve bunny is sweet and cute, and I love Steve's candy, I really do. But I just, how you get like that thing stuck in your head, like I wanted a cake,
Screwdriver?
like I wanted a cake for my birthday, and for years I would got no cake until you broke the cycle and brought me this beautiful flowered cake. It was so yummy, and like now I'm getting cake every year again, but. So this year I want a great big chocolate bunny, and
Some
that's it.
Reese's eggs.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I want all the rest of the candy too. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
talking about this is like a sticking point that I said. Like one year I just decided I wanted one, and for 5 years I haven't gotten one. So this year, big chocolate bunny, we're breaking that cycle. And it can have stuff in it too. It can have like peanut butter or
Oh no.
solid or just
No.
air. Just air is fine
You
too.
say olives?
What? No, solid. I think it's
Oh,
called.
solid. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
my
remember
God.
when I was a kid, my mom made Easter's magical. I mean, I came down the stairs and usually carrying my dirty clothes or something to the washer. But
No, it was
anyway,
Snoopy.
oh yes, Snoopy was always there. But we had this big staircase and we come down and we turn the corner and we had this huge Duncan Fife table that would be all the way spread out. And in the middle of it was always like this huge display of Easter grass and candy and toys. And I would always end up getting this huge bunny. Always.
And
Until
for
I got old enough to take over Easter.
and for our listeners, this is our annual Matt's Easter story. There we go.
Yes, yes.
Do
Easter.
you think it's going to be Jesus rising? No, no. It's the mom did the table so beautiful, and I always got a big chocolate bunny.
Yeah, because that is what Easter is about. The rest of it is a beautiful tale right there next to Frodo taking the ring to Mount Doom, and that's a nice tale too. So, just saying, big bunny, big chocolate bunny.
Okay,
All right,
got that.
with that said, hello and welcome to Chubbs Gone Wild, episode 387, recording on March 22nd, 2021. It is currently 75, 70, 60, 67.
No, it's not.
I was going to say,
It's scheduled to be that, but it's not. It's
okay, well, it's under 67 degrees and sunny outside.
58 right now.
Oh, I like that. That's much better.
No, I want 67.
Oh,
I'm going to open up the house and get the place all nice and warm. We're
see,
going to be
I like
close
to
to
open up
80
the
next
house
week.
and get it all nice and cool. Yeah. So I'll get to that point one
I
day.
know. When you get older, you're going to crave the heat.
Yes, that's what my former roommate Lawrence said. Is he wore 2 sweatshirts and had the heater cranked up, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying, I'm melting. And
It's because
too cold.
your ankles and your knees start hurting when it's cold.
Yeah. Well, if you actually heat rises, so yours should be fine because they're usually in the air, right? Sorry, had to go for the cheap laugh. All right, it is 223 days till Halloween, 278 until Christmas, and 13 days, just 13 days till the big chocolate Easter bunny on Easter.
Now, did you want to tell everybody that on Tuesday we both got our first COVID injection?
We both did. I was so happy for you.
Well, you know, it was so funny because we had talked about this a little bit before last show, but what happened was the place that Matt goes for his health shit had said, had known that on Monday it was going to change to where, you know, people with conditions, and being fat is one of those, yay, was on Monday the 15th where we were going to be able to get our shots or make appointments. So come the 15th, none of the places in town that I can get a shot from changed their website.
Right.
And I mean, I was on this shit for all day long, and about 8, 9 o'clock in the night, I checked Sutter, and Sutter's now changed their website, and boom, boom, boom. And then and then 3 seconds later, okay, I've got an appointment tomorrow at 11:05. And Sean's like, for what? And I go, to get my shot. He goes, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? I was over there in the middle of watching TV, getting my appointment. So
Nice.
Very exciting. And then we both ended up getting it on Tuesday. So that was quite exciting.
I know, it's like it was like destined, because like I said, for me, they're like, well, how did you get your shot? And I just basically, you know, they looked up my chart and I said, oh, bitch, you fat. You need a shot.
And when you went in, no one went,
I got to get the door. All right, we are back. Had to pause for delivery, and there was a delivery in the front this time. Okay, so I know I had to leave you while you were talking. What were you?
I don't remember.
Oh, we were talking about vaccines.
Vaccine.
Oh, I had said they looked at me and said, "Bitch, you need to get some vaccines."
That's right. When you know, no one said, okay, heart condition,
right.
Diabetes. They just went, oh, fat.
Yeah, you're fat. You got all the.
And we were both the fattest people there at our individual places.
Yes, that is true. And actually, it was a big cross section of people when I went. I mean, it was just like, if whatever demographic you needed, there was someone there. And there was only about 24 chairs, and they were all spread 6 feet apart. And we were, you know, asked the questions, took our temperature, went in, filled out paperwork, gave it to them, and I was back in there within like 4 minutes. The only thing that I really had to wait was like the 15-minute wait to make sure that I was okay and steady.
Yeah, that you don't freak out.
Yeah, and I didn't even feel it go in. I mean, I imagine that I imagine this is what, you know, bottoms are talking about when they say mean things about people, because I literally, she pinched my skin. I was even looking and she just jabs. And I mean, it was done. I didn't feel a thing until
well, it was funny. I felt it go in, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah. See, for me, I didn't even feel it go in. It was nothing. So yeah, but I felt it the next day. I mean, my arm got really sore. And so I would do my little stretching exercise with my arm. But so I had a sore arm for like 2, maybe 3 days. And for the next 2 days, because I didn't feel anything really that night, but the next afternoon, I got super, like that tired that you get and that feeling you get when you're sick. But I wasn't sick in any other way, but that super tired, like I have to go to bed now feeling. And I slept on and off for, a few hours at a time. And other than that, nothing. It was fine. A little fatigue and a little arm soreness and nothing.
Yeah, I had nothing.
That's awesome.
I never, my arm, I mean, I could, if I pressed hard enough where I got the shot,
Right.
it's like I could feel where the shot went in, but it's like if I didn't touch it, I didn't feel anything. But this arm, the shoulder really hurt. And I think that was because I slept on it bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that would do it.
Yeah. And then we had some rain, so then joints were a little squeaky, but that had nothing to do with the shot. So
well, they say that the bigger reaction that you have to the first shot could be the level of COVID exposure that you had. So if you had COVID and you didn't know it, you might have a bigger reaction.
Clap your hands.
Yeah, you might have a bigger reaction to the first shot.
Yeah, if you had some sort of antibodies already in you.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but no, I'm curious to what's going to happen with the second shot, if it's going to hit me harder than that. But it's like, I was fine. I just had to sleep for a while and that was it. So.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of full of energy. It was the weirdest thing. It was just so weird. I was like, hey, let's do something. Yeah, come on, let's make dinner. Let's bring some firewood in. I don't know. It was weird.
The weird thing is excuse me. There must have been dust on those mints. But when I came out, the other people that were coming out and leaving at the same time, we all you could kind of tell there was like this special something, this bond of participating in like a global history. And I may just end, we because we both did it, may just end up being statistics 100 years from now. But it felt like we were kind of participating in something larger than ourselves.
Well, now the place that I went to was it was in a large office building. Well, I would say office. It was a 1-floor office, but it's one of Sutter's. I think it was probably it looked like it hadn't been in use, so they turned it into this machine where you came in the door, you went through a Disneyland, where in the line there was no line there. I'm like, can we just cut forward? I'm tired of going around all these turnstiles. And so finally I get up there and they go, so you can get your next shot on, you have no problem with the I think it's the 4th, 5th, 6th, on the 6th. And I'm like, well, I'm going to be out of town. Well, you can't get the shot today if you can't get the shot on the 6th. And I'm like, I can get the shot on the 6th, because I knew that I could reschedule, but they weren't going to do that here. So then I got into another line and then had to wait until through that line. And so I would say that while I was there were probably 200 people that came in. And I mean, This place was cooking. But what I loved was at the end, when you left the exit door, there was a girl working for the place. And she goes, "Congratulations, you're going to live." And I thought, that is exactly how I'm feeling right now. Because even with the new AstraZeneca, the new vaccine that's just going to be approved, there are still no hospitalizations and no deaths on all 4 vaccines now.
Wow.
Awesome. That is it's major hospitalizations, meaning they actually, because if you go in there going, "Oh, I'm really fatigued and my arm hurts," they're going to go, "Okay, here's some Tylenol, go home."
Yeah.
But you're not going to be put in the ICU.
Right.
And that's and it's like even Sean's like going, you know, he's a nurse, so he's going, well, I'm still worried about all these variants, and I'm like, none of the vaccines have had any people hospitalized or deaths. I don't think we have to worry about the variants that much at all, except for people who aren't getting the vaccines.
Right.
That's where we need to worry about it.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important is the variants happen when people continue to get sick. And if they don't get the vaccine, they get it, then they give it to the rest of their family. And as it's morphing and evolving, they get a different variant.
Right.
So, I mean, you kind of think about it as the old phone game where you whisper something into one person's ear, then they have to whisper it into their next ear, and the next person's ear, and the next person. And by the time you get somewhere else, it's not even the sentence that you said.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens with the flu. Well, not the flu, but this particular COVID is it's constantly changing. And if there's no one for it to change into, if everyone was vaccinated, then it would die, and it would be gone forever.
Yep. That's one of the things that I've said too is so crazy about HIV. If everyone just stopped, if everyone knew their status, took their meds, it would just stop. And people seem to think like this is some horrible thing that we can't control. And it's like, no, seriously, if everyone was able to have the sense to take personal responsibility, seriously, this would stop. There would be more. So anyway.
Okay. So
well,
what other holidays are today?
We have As Young as You Feel Day. Okay.
Okay. Well, if my hip wasn't bothering me, I'd feel pretty good today.
Okay, that's good. Also, Gryffindor Pride.
Boo.
Yeah. Also, National Bavarian Crepes, National Goof Off Day. Well, nope, I haven't had the chance.
That's every day for me, girl.
Also, National Sing Out Day and Waterworld Day.
Now, do you think that Sing Out Day is from Gypsy? Remember, you know, because it's funny. She said, "Sing it out, sing out." What was the girl's name?
Louise.
Louise, yeah. Sing out, Louise.
Louise, yeah. Funny that while we put up the tarp yesterday,
it's going to be windy tomorrow.
What?
It's going to be 40 gusts tomorrow.
Well, you figure you got to put it up sometime.
Okay.
So while we were doing that, Lawrence insisted on listening to the Gypsy soundtrack, the Bette Midler one. So interesting timing. Anyway, so those are the holidays that we celebrate today.
Yay.
Moving on. Today's affirmation: I turn every experience into an opportunity for good. That's beautiful. Speaking of good things and opportunities, Patreon offers ways for you all to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcast videos, books, and more. And we want to thank our current patrons: you find Nick, DJ Starsage from Uniballs, Timothy, Eric, Juan Carlos, and Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. And please become a patron of the show so that I can have one more name to add to that, and I can learn a whole new paragraph, right? Okay. All right, let's get into some birthdays. I know we got a lot coming up, including, as soon as the page loads, Beverly, Brett, Zachary, already did those ones. Thank you, Facebook. Amanda, Steve, Jordan. We got Daniel T. Also Tracy, David. Oh my. Brian Jones. We have not heard from him in a long time. A hardcore listener. Also Joe, Andrew, David, ukulele. Interesting. Also Joseph, Ron, Robert, Shane, Daniel Brewer, Daniel Beaver over from Pride 48. Also Waylon, not from Flowers and Madam. Yes, Waylon, not from Flowers and Madam.
Okay.
Yeah.
And not Waylon's Jennings. So it's another Waylon.
Yes, it's actually a Pride 48 Waylon, although he doesn't really do much with Pride 48 anymore. All right. We had, do you know, when I went to the door earlier, I opened it and it was my mother's nurse who did not realize that his appointment was for tomorrow. And a cat that I'd never seen before came up, stuck his head in the door, and then came on in. And I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, but you don't live here. Come on, out. But it was very cute. Anyway, yeah, I know he's just casing the joint.
So it wasn't the same cat?
No, it's none of the regulars, none of the ones that Mr. Larry Dean has cultivated into his own personal cat army. Never seen this one before.
Well, you know what's weird about that?
Hmm.
We have a cat. I've told you about the cat that lives next. I think it lives next door.
Mm-hmm.
They call her Tinkerbell. She hates it, so we always call her Susie.
Yeah.
And a couple nights ago, out of nowhere, we're sitting watching television, and there's like something at the front door, like somebody's at the front door, and I'm like, I hear noises at the front door, so I check my ring and I go, there's nobody at the front door. So Sean opens it up. The cat is sitting there pushing on the security screen to make a rumble. We let her in. She comes in, sits on Sean's lap for like a good hour until he goes to bed.
Yeah.
Then she sleeps on the couch. But, an hour later, I'm ready to go to bed. So I'm just going to bed. I figure she'll wake me up. She has slept over once. But she when she woke up, she freaked out and wanted out.
Yeah.
Well, it was 4:57, and I hear meow, and I got up and let her. She went out the back door, and that was it. But it was so strange, so strange.
I guess she just needed some people comfort.
Well, and I'm sure she didn't hate the fact that it was warm.
Yeah.
And she didn't have to worry because she's an outdoor cat, so she didn't have to worry about predators or anything. So she slept so soundly.
That's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, this one seemed to be a sweet little kitty, but just was like, wait a minute, this ain't your home. So anyway. All right, well, we don't have any feedback this issue. Yes, you can tell that I was in publishing this episode. However, we do have some shout outs that we want to send out, but do you have any that you want to start with?
I was unprepared. I feel terrible. You go ahead and do yours. I'll see if I can think of one.
Well, first we want to send a big hug to Archie Cruiser. One of his kitties passed away. Also, Debbie, whose mom has been moved into hospice. We want to send her a lot of love. And also to Ricky, who's Eisel, who we all know and love at Pride 48, passed away. So we want to send him and them a lot of love. So, all right, you got anyone, sir?
No.
Okay. Remember, they're free.
I know. I was not prepared.
Gotcha. Well, how about for your week, sir?
Okay. Let me just check out my week. Okay. Let's see. This week on RuPaul's Drag Race, it was they were selling a soft drink. It could be whatever soft drink they wanted it to be, but and it's funny because most of them did a soft drink that altered your state to think you were actually happy when you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was okay. I've seen better, and the person they got rid of was shocking this week. It was shocking, but the thing is, what I've noticed, especially on Drag Race, because that's what we're talking about, is that the established queens who have been working it for a lot of years, so they have their shtick, they've got their costumes, they've got their look that they always, most of their characters have. And so when they want them to do different things, they give them the same thing.
Huh.
And because I remember in UK, the biggest drag star in UK was out like week 4, just because she can't, she doesn't, she's been doing it so long, it's hard for her to change out of what her shtick. So, yeah, so that's kind of what happened. But it's been so funny because the internet is so supportive of this queen, and they were doing just the funniest memes about her, and just it was good. It all worked out well. And the thing is, on RuPaul's Drag Race, it would be nice to win, but if you're on RuPaul's Drag Race, you're going to work for a lot of years just off the fact that you were on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
And not to mention, there's a world tour right now that's getting started, getting ready to go sometime soon. They're going to start off on Broadway, and then they're going to do a world tour. Las Vegas show is going to be opening it back up as soon as they get to the point of where the shows are back up and running again.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of work, and that's not even to include all of the pride fairs that these queens are going to be hitting this summer. Right. Because I'll tell you, once we get this vaccine rolling, it's going to change everything. Royal Caribbean announced that they're doing an all vaccinated cruise to Bermuda, Bahamas,
okay,
in June. Now, remember, the cruise ships were the nightmares to start this off, and so here they said the crew will be all vaccinated. And all the people getting tickets have to be fully vaccinated before they get on the ship. So the little card that I showed earlier, these things are going to be your way of getting back to real life.
Back to life.
Anyway, so moving on. Masked Singer this week. It was one person came out, and it was the one character that ended up getting tossed off. As soon as they came out and started to sing, Sean looks at me and goes, "That's the Kardashian father." And I go, "No, the Kardashian father's dead." No, the one that's now a woman. And I go, "Oh, you're talking Bruce Jenner. I mean, I'm talking the other Caitlyn Jenner." Yeah. And he goes, and I go, "Yeah, that could be him," and it was him. So Sean's 2 for 2. You're right, 2 for 2.
Wow,
I'm shocked.
What's that about?
I don't know. It's starting to piss me off. Maybe I mean, once he said it, I'm like, yeah, that definitely could be her. And of course, he never dropped the voice, lifted the voice up.
Right. Yeah.
So it still sounds like Bruce, but it's Caitlyn. So
yeah.
And it's funny because last year I was saying, if they have the opportunity to bring on different kinds of people, not just men and women anymore. Natural men and women. They can bring on people who are trans, who might have a lower voice but are female, or the other way around. And I'm like, which just makes it exciting, because then you're really screwed. You're really screwed as far as guessing, And I think that's exciting. I thought last year they'd actually brought on Laverne Cox.
Yeah.
And it wasn't her. So anyway, American Idols, they just got to Hollywood. So that was last night. They did the first thing where they're singing they're singing in genres. So if you're a country artist, you're singing with the country people, and that way they can kind of weed out the worst of the best. And then tonight it's actually the duet round, and instead of them picking people they want, the judges are picking the duets, which kind of sucks, because if they give you some, if you're a rocker and they give you a country person, that's going to be hard, But anyway, but it's still good, still fun. Still working on The Crown, still enjoying Mad About You. I just saw the episode where they they tried to sell the apartment.
Oh yes.
And that was so funny because that was all the guy with the cheese kept trying to put a hit out on the cousin, but he really wasn't. It's just the way he talks.
Yeah.
Very funny. And well, the whole thing is so well written. I can't even get over it. The Grammys last week were we talked about that, so I don't have to mention that. Oscar nominations were interesting. I mean, it's like what 2020 was. It's a weird kind of mixed bag of mostly kind of sad movies for Best Picture.
Yeah.
So, and let's see. Then I watched the new Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
On Disney, and it was 47 minutes long, the episode 1, and it was good. It was good.
Good.
So it's basically it's after the snap, or after the not after the snap, is after the recovery of after the snap. So everybody's back, and it's like one person, the Falcon and his sister are trying to get like a loan for their business, for her business, and they're going, well, you didn't work for 5 years, and he goes, I wasn't even alive. Come on, I'm good for but it's just weird, like all of a sudden people showed back up and they had to get their lives back together, and people were like, well, it's been a long time since you had a job, type thing. It was weird, but I kind of liked what they were doing. And this is interesting. The Loki series starts on Disney Plus in June. The Mighty Ducks series starts in next week, March 26th. So they've got, it's kind of crazy, just how they're pumping out all these mini movies, basically, especially like with Wanda and with the Mandalorian, and now they're going to have Loki. They're going to have the Falcon, and if these guys continue, Disney Plus is going to go insane.
Yeah.
So I started watching a show called The One on Netflix, and it's basically it is a company that finds your one true love, and they really haven't said how they're doing it, but there's a way where they find out who your one true love is. The only problem is what if your one true love is, well, married? What if your one true love is dead? Or hurt in an accident and now they're brain dead or something like that, or you're it's a relative, or it's, I mean, think about, okay, you roll of the dice, they could be criminals, and so I like that aspect of it, but I found the show kind of slow. And Sean seemed to like it, so we'll continue it, and I'll give it more chance, but yeah. And then there's one called The Crew, and this was with the big guy that's always in the Adam Sandler movies. He's really adorable. Kevin James.
Yeah, okay.
He starts as a kind of a promoter for stock cars or racing, and they have a team. And what happens is the old owner of the team is now promoting his daughter as the new owner of the team because he's going to retire. And now everybody that's worked for him is worried that, things are going to change, and they will, as they always do when you get someone new in. And so it's a comedy. It's not in front of a live audience, but I thought it was kind of cute. I'll give it a go. And then last night on Bob's Burgers, which I don't normally watch Bob's Burgers, or I still record it and then I kind of watch it going, oh, I don't like this show at all. But last night, last night was so hilarious. The mother was jogging and she got like the sick stomach, and she's in the park. The bathrooms are locked up, and she ends up pooping in the bushes and gets arrested. And I love pooping. So it was. I still laughing about it. I watched it this morning, and I was in tears, laughing. And normally the show is not funny, but it's so. It basically everybody hears public defecation, and they're shocked and repulsed, and it was hilarious. So, and then I was going to ask you, because I think you did this. Zack Snyder's new Justice League started on HBO Max, but it was 4 hours and 2 minutes, and I hear you watched it.
Yes, and thank you for reminding me, because I actually forgot to mark that down in my week. I did watch it, and I will say a couple comments that I have. I will say that it was good. I have gone on from saying it was much better to saying it was good. It was a good, solid movie. Yes, 4 hours is a lot to sit through, but guess what? You're home, so you can hit pause. Wow. First off, watching this, I swear there was so few things that I recognized from the first one. I actually questioned whether I actually did watch the first one. I know I saw it in the theater. I didn't fall asleep, but I didn't. But like, there's only a few pieces of the movie that I actually recognized from the first movie.
All I remember was when they were out there on the park.
Yes.
And they were trying to wake up Superman, I guess it was.
That's
all I remember
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good. It actually gave backstories to the other characters, and they were done in, like shorter vignettes, but like the Cyborg, you actually understand what the fuck's going on and what his problem is.
Yeah, I didn't know what the hell was going on with that character.
Yeah, no clue.
I'd never heard of him, so
The Flash, I know Flash from other things, but I don't know who the hell he is in this universe. And we actually got a chance to see him, and he became more than just stupid comic relief. He actually became funny comic relief. They took out parts like how at the end he like ran the wrong direction or some shit. They took all that out. It was a good, solid piece. I understood the characters. I understood what the hell they were doing and why. And yay. If you are a DC fan, forget all the other stuff. Forget that thing that they released before. This is the one you want to watch. Just go with it. Oh gosh, what was I gonna say? I don't know, maybe it wasn't important, but yeah, so much better, so much better. So
okay, well, I'm done with my week. So
okay, now you're not gonna watch it, right?
I can't imagine.
Yeah, I would say that if you're ever like, I don't know, Saturday afternoon, nothing is on, like even the repeats are boring as hell, give it a try. I think, even though you're committing that long, it actually, I think you would like it.
By the way, is your background, is that the from Babe?
No, but that's funny. Actually, who knows? Maybe they did use it on the cover, but it's well, I'm Babe. But it's just a welcome.
It was not supposed to be a pig reference.
Well, I don't know on this show. Snort, girl. Anyway, so we talked about
the same colors. Remember, it was sitting on, and there was the beautiful tree blossoming and the oranges.
And being so proud, little snout coming up. Yeah,
if I had pants on, I'd go get the poster and show it to you.
Oh well, for some that would be interesting. Now people are finally turning into the video.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we talked about the vaccine. And then mom update, she's doing really well. She actually drove all the way up to Auburn and back. And for those, of course, who don't know what that means, Auburn is about 45 miles from here. So she drove all the way up there.
Was she going there to drop him off?
No, she went up because that's where her doctor is.
Oh, that needs to change. Sure
Well,
need to get somebody.
he's getting up there, so I imagine he's probably going to retire pretty soon, and then we'll find one down here. But in the meantime, he's actually a really good doctor for her. And has been her doctor for probably a good 30 years or more.
I know.
So,
Well, my father had one of those that he
yeah.
would, and the guy finally died. And so then my dad went to other doctors, and they're going, "How come you didn't do this? How come you never took care of this?" I don't know. They never told me to. The doctor never. It's because, when you get these old doctors, they're not updated on everything. Yeah. So
Well, see, that's one of the good things about him, though, is that he is not old in that mindset. He's pretty up
okay.
on
How old is
stuff.
he?
I'd say probably about 65
He needs to retire.
or 65. So I don't think so. Anyway,
Okay.
but I imagine he's going to probably within the next year or two, he's probably going to retire. Anyway, so so she drove up there and had a real good time. And he didn't actually know a lot of this, that she was in the hospital and everything for all that time. So, because apparently our people down here didn't communicate with his people.
Oh no, it's Sutter. They're terrible with their.
Yes.
I mean,
now that you mentioned that, you are correct.
Yeah, part of it's good. I mean, part of they're good company, but they still haven't figured out how to link everything together.
Right.
When I was working with the video company back in the 90s,
mm-hmm.
we were connected to where all of our warehouses, and this is kind of a big deal for that time period. I could tell what we had in inventory at every one of our places. And in a second, I could order it and get it sent in, where other companies that were like ours weren't that far ahead for years. And it's like Kaiser is really tight because they're really connected and interconnected. Sutter's not. So I'm not surprised at that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Anyway, but he looked at all the charts and all the information, everything was there, and he basically said, "You know what? You almost died." And so that was actually a little bit of a shock to her, because she didn't really fully realize how bad it really was. And her wound finally from the surgery part of it has pretty much already healed. There's just a little bit more to go, so she still needs a little wound care. And then her other stuff that she's got going on is starting to finally do pretty well regularly. So she's doing good, and she's Mr. Lori Dean put up a rail by the door in the back. So now she's able to get herself into the house okay without needing help. So yeah, she's doing really well. I'm very, very happy and surprised at just how well she's doing. All right, so getting into my week, let's see. I want to thank a huge shout out to Michael Sage, who stayed up pretty much all night one night and read Last Romance, and sent me some great edits and some very encouraging words. So I was very, very happy about that. So thank you, Mr. Sage. And then let's see. Okay, so starting off with, I finally caught up on the last episode or two so far of Call Me Kat. It's finally a good show. They still have a little kind of rough points here and there, but for the most part, it is actually getting really good. Whatever it did to kick it into gear, thank goodness it got there, because I still tell you, if you watch the first couple episodes and watch the last couple episodes, there's practically no comparison. So, yay. Let's see. Polar Storm 2009. I was looking for, one of those disaster movies, and well, this was a disaster of a movie. We'll go with that. The guy that played the lead guy in Heroes, the TV series Heroes, the blonde guy, the father of the.
Yes.
That? Okay. So, and he's been in a number of other series and stuff here and there too, and movies. Anyway, he played the lead in this one, and it was just the cookie cutter somebody had a camera and they had some computer special effects. Uh, you know, you get a sassy teenage boy who has issues with, you know, his daddy not being home for him, and he hates his stepmom, and so he thinks that that allows him to be bad. And then you got, you know, the overprotective parents who is a scientist and, you know, always away, and then the other one who just wants to understand everyone, and then the girl who belongs to another guy but now is his. It is like so cookie cutter. And the whole premise is basically like an asteroid that, I don't know, maybe they didn't see coming, hits the top part of the earth, shifts it around all the stuff in the middle and messes up the poles. So now they've got to go to the other end of the pole and set off two great big nuclear bombs to shift it back so that it'll get back and save the world. And the US has to cooperate with the Russians. And, well, don't bother watching this movie. I just told you everything you need to know about it. You can fill in the rest. So I've been asking for some things. I've been watching some trilogy movies and asked for some suggestions, and got lots and lots on Facebook. So thank you for everybody that listens who participated in that. I chose to watch Deadpool, and it's no secret I didn't really care for Deadpool. I recognized that it was a good movie, but I didn't connect with it at all. But this time I did more, and I liked it. I actually laughed at parts of it that were and enjoyed the storyline. It's very gory. If you're not into gore, it may not be your thing. But of course, Ryan Reynolds is so beautiful, and like
I love the fact that he goes, who's gonna love a face like this? And I'm like, I'll take it.
I know he rips off.
That's not bad at all.
And he's all messed up, and he's just like, ah, and I'm all like, it's supposed to work. It's not bad, you know. But he's a beautiful man. So yeah, that's there. I started watching the Bourne movies. Now, I watched the first one earlier last year, so I went ahead and the Bourne Identity, I guess, movies they're calling them. I watched 2 and 3 the other night, and I liked them. I actually really liked them, and I'm not really into movies like this much. But Matt Damon was fun to watch. And,
too many moles.
Whatever. I don't mind. I think he's a very handsome man and a good actor. Anyway, then I watched the one from 2012 that had Jeremy Renner in it.
Yes.
Nothing against Jeremy Renner. I think he's a fabulous actor, but damn, this was a boring movie. It was so boring. By the time they decided to do anything, I could have cared less. No, I couldn't have cared less because it was just a boring ass movie. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the last one that is out in the series tonight, and I guess there's another one coming out next year or something if they get their stuff together. But this one,
I got a stub hug.
Oh, okay.
To our friend Dave, who's a mailman. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
He just was in the hospital with surgery, and he's out. He got a second COVID shot, so we're happy to see that.
That is very awesome. I saw that on Facebook a little bit ago, actually. I still don't know what he went in for, but
I don't either, and I'm dying to find out.
I know, but if he's not volunteering, I shouldn't guess, but I always like kind of wonder, you know.
Right.
Could be flat feet. He's a mailman.
Oh my God, I can't think of a worse job. Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so I will be finishing up watching the Bourne Identity movies tonight, and then we moved on. I have watched a few episodes of Picard. I put it off for a long, long time. I am on episode 5 now, and I'm actually really enjoying it. So, and I want a big bunny. I want a big chocolate giant Easter bunny.
As just a reminder.
Yes.
For those of you who have forgotten since earlier on.
Right. And we also want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much, and to be you, Fat Marker Clothing, wants those of us who have been told that we are too much of something. Turn those negatives into positives And Chubbs listeners, you can do that by using the code FMWildChub to get 20% off anything over at fatmarkerclothing.com. All right, well, let's go ahead and jump into advice and see who has an insipid problem this time. When the vaccine rollout started, my state opened a site where you could pre-register for a shot. Qualifying pre-existing conditions included cancer, sickle cell anemia, Down syndrome, and obese and overweight BMI. They were all lumped together in a single yes or no question. Well, my BMI is in the overweight range, and several months ago, when would have been in the obese range. See, I'm losing weight, I promise. While I do want to lose weight, I also have a very large chest, which makes my weight higher than most women of my height and other dimensions. I felt a little uncomfortable selecting yes, but figured it was only the first step, and eventually down the line, I'd be asked which condition on my list I actually had. Well, a month later, I received an email telling me that I was now eligible. 2 days later, I was able to get an appointment, and I'm feeling very guilty. I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, and I know there are other people with serious health conditions who can't work from home, and still others who are eligible to and struggling to find appointments. I didn't do anything outside just logging into the website early in the morning. Anyway, to make matters more complicated, while the state site still lists overweight BMI as a qualifying condition, I only see obesity listed elsewhere. I called our state's vaccine hotline to clarify whether I should really have an appointment, because I'm so thin, except for my boobs. Anyway, the very well-meaning person told me if I got an email saying I'm eligible, then I'm eligible. Well, I'm convinced she didn't understand my question. Is it wrong for me to take an appointment when I know there are others who need it more than me? I am constantly cycling between being overwhelmed with guilt and feeling okay with this because I didn't do anything wrong. And at the end of the day, they need to put shots in arms and my big boobies.
I've heard this before from other people.
Really? I'm not fat enough, I swear. I just have big tits.
Yeah, no, I've heard from some people who had, let's say, been obese and then got surgery and lost weight, and now they're complaining that, oh, so if I hadn't gotten the surgery, I'd be able to get the shot. And I'm like, okay, we're having a problem with our priorities here, people.
Right.
And so I mean, I get it. And by the way, you can go in there and say that well, they won't ask you. They do, because of HIPAA, they can't ask you what your problem is. So if anybody is worried about that, if anybody is desperately in need of the shot and they qualify age-wise, but they need to have a precondition, just say you have it. I mean, you can get by with that. I'm just saying, for people who are so freaked out, you can get by with that. This person might not be the right weight, but they got the email saying they were fine. Take it. Get over it.
Right. And
within a couple of weeks, there's going to be so much vaccine that everyone can get it twice, but don't get it twice. But I mean, there's just going to be that much vaccine, and it'll be a few days later down the line. It's okay.
Yeah, seriously, just get the shot. Everybody's going to get the shot. It's fine.
But I think a condition that some people have is panic.
Yeah.
And if this is going to, I mean, because I know people, I might even call myself this, somebody that was so focused on not getting COVID. I mean, I didn't, like wipe off my groceries like other people did, but
that would be me.
I know, but I But now I don't. I went to the gas station a couple days ago. Wasn't even worried. I didn't even wear a mask because there really wasn't anybody there. But I had a mask with me.
No.
But what I'm saying is that when you leave, the girl goes, "Congratulations, you're going to live." That's how I felt, and all of a sudden the panic kind of melted away. So
yeah,
I think that's almost a condition on its own. That's that's causing a lot of people grief.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. Get over it. It's fine.
Yeah, they're trying everything they can to get the shots to people so that they don't go to waste, and so that people are vaccinated.
Well, I was surprised to find out that 85% of the people who died from COVID were 65 or over.
Yeah,
85. That's a lot.
That it wipes out like vitamin D in your body.
Well, what happens is, and I told you this months ago, that high vitamin D levels, people with high vitamin D levels have a harder time of getting COVID.
Right.
So that's why people with certain minority groups, they're not normally high in vitamin D.
Right.
So take your vitamin D pills.
But one of the studies that just came out is also showing that it depletes the vitamin D in your body.
Okay.
Which is, kind of odd. So they're looking into that too. All right. Well, I say this person shouldn't worry about anything. It's all good. But let's see what Dear Pretty has to say. Okay. All right. There are relatively few moments in life where one can take medicalized fat phobia and make it work in one's favor. Take that opportunity. You asked for confirmation that you qualify for the vaccine. You heard from state officials that you do. The reason you're convinced yourself that the hotline worker did not actually understand your question is not because you were unclear or because you secretly got away with something due to a loophole that no one has been able to recognize. You feel guilty and undeserving, and you want someone to tell you that you shouldn't actually receive it. But you qualify. You answered the questions asked of you, and there is no medical or public safety related reason the state government should ask. Before you click submit, please describe your bust line so that we can determine your exact distribution of fat on your body before scheduling vaccine appointments. Get your shot. If you would like to help high-risk members of your community make their own appointments, look for ways to volunteer. But don't put off your own appointment once you qualify. Yep. Sounds like her own internalized obesophobia.
Well, I just think it's funny.
Not that fat.
Right. Well, I think it's funny that Prudy says, hey, there are very few times in life when being medically fat is a good thing. Take it. Run with it. Well, waddle with it.
And it's like when I left that building after getting the vaccine, I passed by a couple little skinny people and I'm like, I got it.
Did you?
No.
Thank goodness.
That would have been funny. Anyway, moving on. Hey, Chubbs, what makes a man instantly unattractive?
Smoking.
Spitting.
Oh, that doesn't bother me because I'd like that later on.
Well, inappropriate places, but when I'm out in the street and someone goes,
oh yeah, I mean if they're coughing up a loogie,
fucker, gross.
And also really terrible BO.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really bad breath.
Bad breath is, well, it would have to be really bad.
Give them a mint, I guess. But
but
but you're usually facing away.
No, there's kissing involved, asshole. But it's like, I've kissed people who smoke and people who drink coffee. So,
did I ever tell you that I spent the night with a guy in a motel room? And yes, it's just as seedy as it sounds, but he was a very sweet guy. But he was a snorer with his mouth open. He didn't brush his teeth before bed. He was a smoker and he had coffee. And let me tell you, that is a stench you do not fucking forget.
Well, it fills the room. Snorers do not
awful.
Realize that the room smells of your breath when you snore the entire night. when you're laying on your back and snoring up logs, yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that and the other thing would be if they talk about the reasons that they like Trump. Instant unattractive.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
I know, isn't it nice? I mean, there's entire chunks of my day where I don't hear his name or think about him at all.
Well, you know, last night they announced that Trump said within 2 months he's going to have his own Twitter app, you know, and it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because if it's like Parler and it's just focused at, you know, his group of friends,
Yeah.
then okay, that's fine. I just don't want him on anything that I have to read.
Right, exactly. Anyway, hey Chubbs, how do you find happiness by yourself?
I usually get chicken and then jack off. Is that what they mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay, but let's separate the two though. So there's a good comma in there, right? You don't like jack off with the chicken.
No, well, my hands are usually still greasy.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You just made some choices very.
I don't think that's what this question. It's like, how do you be happy by yourself? You know, I mean, I know people who do not have partners, and they're happy by themselves.
Hey, hello.
I know.
Yeah.
And you need a peer group too. You know, remember the old thing is we choose our family. Well, make sure you have that as well. You know, it's hard to be alone, but by yourself is the time that you're by yourself. But you don't have to be by yourself all the time, and you don't need a partner to be happy.
Absolutely. Good answer. I like that answer. All right. Hey, Chubb. Oh, wait, no. Let's move on to what's in your lunchbox. Mr. Moose wrote in and said, back in my buddy's restaurant for chicken tenders. Hand-breaded real strips of chicken with ranch dressing as a dip. Mashed potatoes made with red skin potatoes and real cream. Steamed broccoli for a green veggie mousse. That's beautiful.
Well, the mashed potatoes, I was wondering what that was, and it's a piece of skin.
Oh, yeah. You know, when I make mashed potatoes, I usually leave the skin on. Well, usually when I make mashed potatoes, they come from a box, so the skin's already gone. But
yeah,
if I make them from scratch, I like the skin in as part of it.
It doesn't bother me.
Yeah,
at all. But there's a Costco brand of, you know, potato flakes, and it's the best. They make up great. You can infuse them with whatever flavor you want. I like to go with garlic or you know,
garlic and butter for me.
Yeah, something like that. Salt and butter works great. Mashed potatoes are so lovely.
Yep.
I prefer gravy though.
Yeah. I'm kind of a purist with butter sometimes, but if there's a really good gravy, oh yeah.
Girl, I can teach you how to make gravy.
Well, I know how to make gravy. I'm just lazy when it comes to that.
It's so easy.
Well, yes and no.
Well, I just made. I've been making this great stock lately, and it's just so. I've been using a lot of herbs, and it's just amazing. And last week, I took a cup of the broth. Well, I made a roux, a cup of the broth, stirred it together, and I had a cup of really amazing gravy. Unfortunately, what I put it on it wasn't good, but otherwise the gravy was good.
That is excellent. I love gravy. I really do.
Well, what had happened was that I thought, well, you know, I wonder if the riced cauliflower would taste well. You know, if you throw it in with like curry, it's fine. It is fine. It textures like rice. The problem is that the rice is dry when it goes in, you know, when you pour gravy on it or whatever, it's not dry, but you know, it's not, it doesn't have its own moisture the same way riced cauliflower does.
Right.
So instead of the flavor going into the rice cauliflower oozes its own terrible taste. And so in that kind of case, it didn't work because I had ground beef with some, and I did the ground beef and I did the gravy, and it didn't work. But the gravy was good.
Yeah, I had seen the riced cauliflower and been curious about trying it, but not enough to actually buy it.
Well, like I said, if you're going to make a good curry with a lot of sauce, you could put it over that. You'll feel the texture. It feels like rice in your mouth. And the curry is strong enough to cover any leaking out of the hideous cauliflower taste. I actually had cauliflower general done like general chicken. It was good. I think it needs a strong flavor is what it needs to cover up the cauliflower hideous.
Yeah, kind of like when they want you to make pizza crust out of it. You need some good pizza flavoring.
Yeah, you have to. The crust is it's not pizza crust, but it's crunchy and it holds together. But yeah, you have to have some sauce.
Yeah.
To cover it up. It's just yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, currently LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento, along with the HIV Planning Council, want you to know that there is an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective in preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, contact your local sexual health clinic. If you're in Sacramento County, California, contact Golden Rule Services at sacgrs.org to get started on protecting your sexual health. Oh, that's what it was. Something was bugging me. I remembered that when you were talking about how you've been making some good stock, I was going to say you should be trading some of that stock. I know.
Because I'm stock in the PrEP. So yeah.
All right. Well,
actually, the company just bought. They're working now with a Denmark chemical or medical place. So they just brought on another person, and the stock's been going up.
Yay. Okay. Current topics. Trans woman makes history by winning cisgender Nevada beauty pageant. Excuse me. Growing up, I was often told that I was not allowed to be myself or be in spaces that to be in spaces that I was not welcome, she said during a competition's Q&A portion. Also, rapper Little Mama wants a heterosexual rights movement after facing backlash for hateful comments. She went on a tirade about transgender women's genitals and called them depopulation at any cost, but she wasn't expecting the backlash she got. You know, so many of these people that do this shit get out there and shout their mouth off because they think it's funny or, you know, whatever. And then when basically their own fan base comes back and says, you know what, you need to shut the fuck up, then they're all like, oh, I need a heterosexual rights movement for me so I can say stupid things. Whatever. Go to Harry Potter school and shut up.
Oh my.
Oh, I said it. Anyway. All right. Hey, cops stopped a trans woman because she didn't make eye contact. And then they beat her up. The cops suspected she had an arrest warrant because she didn't make eye contact with him. She didn't have one, by the way. All right.
Yeah.
Hey.
Of course not.
Send us an email at chubsgonewild@gmail.com. Leave us a comment at chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/chubsgonewild. Please become a patron of the show over at patreon.com/MattBurlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swanandjed.com. Find our podcast in iTunes or on iHeartRadio. Also, find out more about my books at justkisstheguy.com and check out my other podcast at biggaysexshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69-CHUBS.
woohoo! I like that. Nice. All right. Well, and with that, we thank you for joining us. We will catch you in a week before Easter. That's right, before Easter. Remember, there's plenty of time for chocolate bunnies.
I know, we got 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right. We will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.